Hey guys, if you're looking for a super easy and simple method to get your seeds started, you're in the right place, because in this video I'm going to show you my favorite method for starting seeds. So this is a really easy process, and all you need is just a milk jug and a couple other supplies. But what is so great about this method is if you don't have a lot of space indoors to start your seeds, it's perfect for you. But also, this is probably the easiest and most successful way to start seeds of perennials or any other plant that is going to require a cold stratification period. So if you're ready to learn more, let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so this is a really simple process, and you're only going to need a few materials for this project. Of course, you're going to want your jug, and this can be water jugs, milk jugs, vinegar jugs, anything like that. The ones that are kind of translucent are usually best. Next, you're going to want some pre-moistened seedling mix. Then you'll want some duct tape, either a Sharpie marker or something to write with. And I like to use a plant tags just because writing Sharpie on the jugs, they do tend to fade. And then you're going to want a sharp knife, and if you have a mister, that will be super helpful for this project. But if not, you can get by with just a little glass of water. Okay, so to start this project off, you're going to start by removing the cap, because you're not going to need that anymore. And then what I like to start with is drainage holes, because I tend to forget. So you're just going to take your knife and you're just going to kind of poke a few holes in there. I'm using a vinegar container, and these are kind of a little bit thicker than a milk jug, so it's a little tougher to work with, but I do like these a little better just because they're a little sturdier. But I use lots and lots of milk jugs and water jugs as well. So I ended up putting 8 drainage holes in here just because they're kind of small. You don't have to do that many if you don't want to. Next, what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of cut this in half. So I like to find the handle, start right by the handle. I'm just going to cut into it, and then we're just going to go all the way around. And then when you get back to your handle, you're going to stop so that you don't cut it all the way off. You're going to want to open this up like that. And now that we have our jug cut open and with drainage holes, we're going to take some of our pre-moistened soil, and we're just going to dump that in there. You're just going to want a few inches. This jug, since it's a vinegar jug, it's going to be a little bit taller. But I'm not going to fill it all the way up because it just doesn't need that much soil. So once I get my soil in there, I'm just going to kind of pack it down. And you're going to want to look at your seed packet. Today I'm using this Leprechaun Gold Columbine. And on the back side of the packet, you can see it says it's going to have a plant depth of 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch. So what I'm going to do is open this up, and I think there's about 15 seeds in here. So I'm just going to take these seeds, and I'm just going to kind of try and spread them out as best as I can so they'll have an even space with plenty of room to grow. Alright, so I have my seeds placed. So now I'm just going to take a little bit of soil, just enough so I can cover them to about that 1/4 of an inch. So I have that spread out, and I'm just going to lightly press this down to get rid of any air bubbles that may be in there. Now that our soil is ready, you're going to want to water your seeds in. It is easier if you use a mister, but I couldn't seem to find mine. So I'm just going to pour just a little bit of water over here to settle that soil in. Now, in my experience, just writing on the jug with a Sharpie, the Sharpie does tend to fade after not very long out in the sun. So what I like to do is to take one of these little plant tags, and then I'll write with just a number 2 pencil, I'll write the name. So for this one, it's Leprechaun Gold. So I'm going to write that down. And then all I do is I just take this and set this inside of my jug. And you're going to want to grab your duct tape. And all you do is you start right there on the handle, and you're just going to wrap around with duct tape. I think this is probably the trickiest part of the whole process. Just trying to line that jug up as best as you can. And then I usually just go around twice just to make sure I have it sealed off nicely and to make sure my tape stays. Now my jug is all complete and it's ready to go outside. And you'll just set this in a sunny spot, and once the weather warms up, you should see seeds coming up, and you'll just kind of wait until you think that they're ready, and then you can just split up those seeds and plant them either in pots or out in the landscape, however you prefer. You do want to make sure that you check on these fairly often, especially if it gets kind of warm. because you don't want that soil to dry out. And generally the easiest way to do that is to just take a mister and spray in the top and keep them nice and moist that way. And that's going to be it.